The first thing I want to do is I want to shout out a couple board members, all of our board members. You guys have met Jake. Jake is our president, does a bang up job of this. I can say a lot about time and effort, and I won't because it can't be measured. The time that's put into all the clinics that we put on throughout the year. There's a couple other board members I need to recognize: Tony Dahlberg, Dale Luganville, Vanessa Kaiser is our youth coordinator, as is Diane Scott. We have Joel and Miranda Gonska over here, sitting over here. Where's Dan Rawlings? Dan is right back there, big sponsor of ours. Is everybody here? Did I get everybody? And Paul Cazzoni. Yeah, thank you very much. It takes a lot to put on something like this. We have to give a shout out to Majestic Oaks for doing a bang up job too and for hosting us. For this part, I am going to check my notes because I get to introduce a speaker tonight, and I got a few things to say. So, Jake and I started Minnesota Made 10 years ago, and from that moment, this man's been a mentor to us in many ways. He is the face and voice of many different parts of Clam Outdoors, and he's organized, he's relationship first, he's trustworthy, he loves to see people and things grow. He's a father, he's a fisherman. We're happy to call him our friend. Please welcome Matt Johnson.
That felt very paid in advance. It's pretty awesome. Well, first of all, it's a golf tournament. I don't golf, but I did put on my best attempt at a golfing outfit with a collared shirt. Anyone that knows me knows I do not wear collared shirts. My wife would tell you that. I'm usually in a fishing shirt or something. I still wear a hat, sorry, but that's pretty awesome. Paul's team is awesome. I remember when FAM first started coming to fruition and I sat down at lunch with these guys and they told me about it. And I'm like, what a perfect group of people to run this. And the cause is so spot on. I mean, when MMA came about, these guys not just started a fishing club, they started a movement. They really thought to themselves, what can we do as a fishing organization that's different? And it's not just about fishing, right? A lot of us go out there and do things to better the communities, get kids involved. But what they did right away is they try to find ways to be different and get these kids excited about the sport of fishing. They saw a gap, they saw an opportunity, and they started doing some of these on-ice activities for the youth, which then blossomed into FAM, which we can't be prouder to be a part of at Clam Outdoors and also myself. So when Paul asked me to come up here and speak 11 months ago, he's like, will you come up? I'm like, no problem. I think he actually took my cell phone and put this date in it. And he's like, you know, September 23rd, make sure you're there. And I said, I will 100% be there, I promise. No matter what, I'll be there. And then as we got closer, I'm coaching my son's 5th grade football. I'm like, you watch, we'll have a game that night or something. And he said, well, if you can't make it, that's okay. I'm like, 100% be there. There's a game tonight. They won. So they won, they did good. Proud of them. I got the text from one of the other coaches, said, hey, we got the W, so pretty cool deal. So, but I got to meet some of these younger anglers. Where's Little Bussin' at? Where's Blake? Well, not little, I should be quiet. He'll probably hurt me. But when I first met him and saw his excitement for fishing, it's contagious. It's awesome. He gets to work some of the booths with us at these shows, these ice fishing shows. And I'll tell you what, the future is in very good hands with anglers and ambassadors like Blake. So when Paul asked me to come up here, he said, Matt, keep it kind of brief. I can talk to the wall for an hour and a half. And he thought, well, maybe tell your quick story on how you got involved in fishing as a kid and then how it had transpired. And you know, I won't get too long into that because I got a couple things I do want to say about FAM and what's cooking there. But you know, I didn't grow up in a fishing family, I'll be honest. Kids nowadays are pretty lucky. There was no such thing as fishing clubs for the youth. You know, I used to ride my bike to the library, and for anyone, Blake probably doesn't know this, A VHS tape, you know what a VHS is? I used to go and get VHS tapes about like in fishermen and different things, and I would watch those things over and over and over again to the point where I actually one time had the librarian say, kid, you wore this tape out. Like there are dead spots in this tape because I think you're the only one that watches this. But there was a passion, and I would find opportunities, and as I got older into high school and college, you just continue to find those opportunities and jump on them. And fishing was one of those things. When we weren't playing sports, we were trying to fish, walk into the Coon Rapids Dam, catching carp. You know, and what I think that does for our youth is if you find those opportunities and you seize them and you go fishing and you find what makes you tick there, it gets you more excited about it. And that's what we did. So and then later in life, I was blessed to get more involved in fishing and started guiding when I was in college, and that was 20 plus years ago, and found ways to be involved in it, which eventually led me to clam and led me to be more involved here. So Paul and I have known each other a while, a long time. We both went to high school together. He was a little bit older than me. He's got a few more gray hairs. I have some. And then fishing brought us back together, which I thought was awesome. I didn't know he liked to fish in high school. He probably didn't know I liked to fish in high school. I wish we did. And it wasn't until later in life that we reconnected. And it's kind of neat, excuse me, to see that stuff kind of come full circle. So as far as the world of fishing and the kids go, for every one of you in this room, I think you already understand the importance. You're here. You're dedicating your time, your resources, your effort to further our youth in the sport of fishing. And I'll leave you with some facts. So there's some things here. As an ice fishing company, we do a lot of studies. We research this. Youth angling is one of the fastest growing sectors in fishing. It's growing by leaps and bounds, and I attribute that to these organizations, not just FAM, but if you look at some of these fishing organizations, the fishing teams at the high school level, at the college level, it's so exciting. And one thing I love about it is, and I tell this to people, you know, being involved in the sports, the traditional sports world, right? So many parents are like, well, my son or daughter, they're not that good at football. They're not great at volleyball. You know what, I'll tell you what right now, you know, with a little bit of help, they can be darn good at fishing. I'm telling you. And that's, I think it's great to see parents realize that as an opportunity, because I'll tell you what, you know, I got older uncles, you know, they still fish. I can promise you they can't put a pair of cleats on. So for these families out there looking at investing in this sport of fishing, it's a lifelong activity. It truly is a lifelong activity, and there's so many ways to give back in this sport too. It's not just about catching a fish. Sounds cliche, but it's true. I've heard it from many of these people in these feature angling Minnesota jerseys saying, I would much rather watch someone catch a fish than catch a fish myself. And I'm seeing some of these younger kids, it's awesome, say the exact same thing. You can't coach that. So I think what's happening with FAM is a blessing. We're supporters because we want to be. It's not only better, it's the right thing, PR. No, we're supporters of the organization because we want to be, and because they are truly making a difference. I can tell you that. It's pretty darn awesome. So, I know a lot of you gave a lot of time out of your day. You got to do some golfing. I heard some of you are really good. I heard some of you should not play ever again. Waldo, is that you that told me that? Okay, fair enough. I'm really bad at golf 3 times and it was for 3 bachelor parties, trust me. No bueno. But, so thank you so much. I know Paul's going to say it a million times, but on our behalf as a partner and a sponsor, this is what is going to move the needle in the future for our sport. It's groups like FAM. That's what's going to move the needle. So thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Follow. I'm gonna just talk to you back here, guys. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna read it anyways. All right, guys. So originally, I was not gonna speak this year, but I recognize that we're teaching these kids to break out of their shell, so lead by example, right? Most of you here are familiar with FAM, and for those that are not, let me fill you in on what we do. Future Anglers of Minnesota, or FAM as it's affectionately known, is a remarkable initiative that is transforming the lives of young anglers across our great state. FAM is a nonprofit organization dedicated to providing opportunities and resources for youth anglers to pursue their passion for fishing. It serves as a platform for young individuals to learn, grow, and connect with like-minded individuals who share their love for our sport. But what sets FAM apart from other organizations? Our commitment to education and mentorship. We understand that fishing is not just about casting a line and reeling in a catch. It's about fostering a sense of responsibility, conservation, and a respect for our natural resources. Through various programs and events, FAM equips young anglers with the knowledge and skills necessary to become responsible stewards of our lakes and rivers. By instilling these values early on, we ensure that our youth anglers will become advocates for sustainable fishing practices, preserving our precious ecosystem and for generations to come. Moreover, FAM provides mentorship opportunities for young anglers to learn from experienced fishermen and women. These mentors not only share their expertise, but also serve as role models, inspiring the next generation of anglers to dream big and reach their full potential. They teach valuable lessons about patience, perseverance, and the joy of the sport, instilling in these young anglers a sense of confidence and self-belief. In addition to education and mentorship, FAM organizes various programs throughout the year. Two examples of these programs are the Youth Angler Quest and the FAM Fishing Challenges. These opportunities not only allow young anglers to showcase their skills, but also provide a platform for them to connect with fellow anglers, build friendships, and create lasting memories. These programs foster a sense of camaraderie and healthy competition, encouraging young anglers to push their limits and strive for excellence. Thanks to Miranda Gonska, right over here, she kicked off the Fishing Challenges Facebook group this spring. If you're not a part of it, you should join it right now. Go over to Facebook, search Future Anglers of Minnesota Fishing Challenges. It's a great spot for kids to submit any fish that they caught throughout the year. This group allows kids to post pictures of their catches for a chance to win monthly prize packages of FAM swag, donated tackle packages, and a lot more. Thanks to all of our sponsors that have contributed to that program. Because of this group, the Fishing Challenges group specifically, the Youth Angler Quest, which some of you may be familiar with, has seen a huge increase in participation. In 2022, 11 kids, and I'm going to skip slides because I'm running this as well. So these are all submissions, or some of our submissions to the Youth Angler Quest. Look, we got Vinny up there. There he is. Walleye here. We got Will with a big old 8-pound bass. That's a huge bass. Yeah, so in 2022, 11 kids made 44 total submissions. And in 2023, 22 kids have made 56 total submissions, and that number grows every single week. In 2022, we had 5 kids complete 15 of our challenges. There's 7 challenges up there. We had 5 kids complete 15 challenges. In 2023, we have seen 9 kids complete 17 of our challenges. Woo! So, huge jump, huge jump. This program is built on a vision that I had, and it's grown into something that I pretty much can't handle at this point. But we are working on options to improve the user experience. We want to build an app and all kinds of fun stuff for that. So if you're not participating in the Youth Angler Quest with your kids, get out there, participate. If you pick up that QR code that's on your table, the little square ones, if you scan that, one of the options is submit a fish, and that's for the Youth Angler Quest. So I'll finish it up here. Sorry, I'm getting a little long-winded, but like Matt said, Future Anglers of Minnesota is not just an organization, it's a movement. It's shaping the future of youth anglers. FAM is empowering young individuals to become responsible anglers, conservationists, and leaders in their community. Thank you all for your support. Let's celebrate the incredible work Future Anglers of Minnesota as we continue to inspire and nurture the next generation of anglers who will carry the torch of fishing and conservation for years to come. Thank you.
They want me to tell you that it's the last chance to get your raffle tickets in. I don't know, most of the people that were here last year know that after this we drew the raffles live and it took about an hour and a half. This year we're going to draw them right now. We're going to put them up on a screen. It's going to take about 10 minutes. So that's going to save us a bunch of time at the end. All right, I'm ready. So earlier Matt talked about Blake Bussin, who was our first future legend. We're just going to pretend the last 2 minutes never happened and start where we left off. So Matt brought up Blake Bussin, who is our first future legend. And I think it would be a mistake to not tell you how FAM actually got started. Because we started doing stuff for veterans and for police officers, and that was kind of the avenue we were going. And then Blake Bussin posted this right here on his Facebook page, and we saw it, and we thought, that's how kids are supposed to act. Now, if this wasn't here, this doesn't matter. We scroll right by it. But he said, I want to be a tournament angler, and this is all the things that I need. And he said, this is how I'm going to get it. And the light bulb went off, and we said, we want to teach kids about life, about what real life is. And it's not just getting handed things, it's about working for it, figuring out a plan, and making it happen. And that's how this started, and that's how we've kind of made our mission about what FAM is about. And so Blake, thanks for inspiring a bunch of fat, overweight fishermen. So one piece of exciting news from last year to this year that you guys might not fully know about if you aren't following us on social media, which you should be, is that we've expanded into Brainerd, and I'd like to give a big shout out and have them stand up, and I think they deserve the biggest round of applause tonight to Miranda and Joe Gonska for taking on the Brainerd chapter. We didn't really have a plan, to be honest, of how we were going to do this or whatever. This just fell in our lap. And I truly believe when you're doing good things and trying to be a positive influence in the world, that things fall in your lap. And it happened, Miranda calls and says, hey, this is exactly what we want to do, and we talked, and I had to calm her down a little bit and tell her it's a lot of work too. She's like, I don't care. This is gonna be awesome. But they're set up. They have a guide service and they have fishing houses, and it couldn't have been a perfect fit. And then you add the people behind it, and it's absolutely been amazing. Their enthusiasm, their professionalism, and Miranda's best trait, in my mind, her positivity, has been a glowing light for FAM and for a bunch of idiot guys that have been running this for 2 years.
Everyone here we say, Miranda says, that sounds awesome.
Yes. You can go to the next one. So thank you, Joe and Miranda. Appreciate you guys. And with that being said, if there's anybody in this room from maybe the Alexandria or Fergus Falls or Faribault or Detroit Lakes or Baudette area, those are kind of our next options or that we're looking at. So just to give you guys a little bit of a quick glimpse of, this was our year in 2022. We ran some ice clinics, some casting clinics, we did a Mille Lacs launch, and we did a guided boat trip out on West Rush Lake. Our total reach was 88 kids. Doesn't sound like a ton. There's a lot of organizations that go out there and they do huge clinics, and they have 10 volunteers for 100 kids, and they talk to all of them, but they talk to them for 2 seconds. The majority of our clinics are 2 kids to 1 volunteer, and also our volunteers aren't just, sorry if anybody's name is Joe in here, it's Grandpa, but not Grandpa Joe sitting on a bucket with his bobber. These guys are, a lot of them, guys and gals, are tournament anglers, and are absolute sticks. So they're not just getting, hey, come out fishing with us. They're getting a full experience. We've told our people to make a connection. A lot of times they end up becoming social media friends, and they bounce ideas off the guides that they had. We get emails requesting those guides. You're gonna have to move to the next slide. I don't know how to do it. Nobody does, that's why Tony's here. And while we're at that, hey, we're at it. While we're at that, we should probably give Tony a big round of applause too, because I'll tell you why. Because the rest of us are a bunch of Neanderthals when it comes to technology, so we'd be screwed without Tony, as you saw there. So 88 kids in 2023, and we'll just fast forward to this number here, and 203, over double what we did the previous year. A lot of that has to do with Brainerd. A lot of it has to do with us looking at what we were doing, figure out what didn't work and what we can do better. But as you can see up here, we've done a bunch of different things between ice fishing and summer fishing. A lot of these are very interactive. These kids go home with different prizes and things like that. And just to give you guys, I wanted to do a couple things. I want to touch on our Pekagama event in Pine City. We got out on the ice and we planned on going about 1.1 miles out onto the ice to where the most congregated spot of fish were. It was a complete slush fest. Anybody that ice fished this year knows how bad the ice was and how bad the slush was. We had guys that weren't even volunteering from our event, from the Minnesota Made, coming out with their snowmobiles and huffing stuff across the ice and getting it out there and transporting people out there. It was, honestly, there was no way that it should have happened, but our group made it happen, and nobody complained, and everybody just kind of did their thing, and there's no way that even like a couple fishermen that were going out could have made it out there. We got 20 kids out there with 10 guides. They fished for 2 hours, caught over 150 fish, and then we came in and ate pizza. It was unreal, the amount of work that went into the long finish. And then we got a muskie trip coming up out on Battle Lake that I don't think has been done before. I don't think any kids' muskie trips have been going on. We got 20 kids going out to Battle Lake for 2 days. And they got hotel rooms, they got dinners Friday night, Saturday night, they got lunches, and they're gonna be guided out on Battle during a full moon, during a prime time muskie deal, where we got a bunch of muskie, we got the PMTT champion guiding for us. Like, this isn't just like some muskie trip, it's elite. So there's a lot of things that we're doing that are a bit different, and hopefully we're gonna make a big impact on the kids with their lives. If they get better at fishing, great. If they get better as people, that's what we're looking for. So I don't know who gets this thing next.
Probably me. There you go. Does anybody else want to talk? Alright, is there another slide? The slide guy. There might be another slide. Go to the slide guy. Oh, this is risky. We don't know what's on this computer. Alright.
Never mind, I got one more thing. Slide guy just gone.
You got it.
What's next? Okay, so we're still basically a 2-year-old nonprofit. We're still young, but we're growing. I mean, this was ridiculous. I had to call Majestic Oaks to see if we had extra raffle tickets, if they had extra raffle tickets, because we were running out of raffle tickets on hole 5. So thank you guys for your support for that. But we're still trying to build our foundation. We're still trying to kind of figure it out, and we want this thing to last. So the next thing that we want to do is invest in infrastructure. Right now, our volunteers do a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's kind of clunky. So the next thing we want to do is make it easy. There's not a single person that's wearing one of these jerseys that gets $1. Everybody is volunteering 100% of the time. 100% of every proceed goes back to these kids. But part of that is going to be investing in our infrastructure and getting this to where it lasts for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. One thing we've kind of been doing with our clinics is the kids go home with a bunch of stuff, don't get me wrong, outside of the guided stuff and the mentorship, but they get a bucket, clam bucket, and some plastics and some jigs, but we want to kind of take these clinics from economy to first class. We want these kids to really walk away going, man, I love fishing, and I love FAM, and I want to do that again. And that's our next step. And then on the last part is, this is one of the things that usually our board meetings are about 4 hours long, and the last 2 hours, the 6 hour, goes into 6 hours, is we start talking about all the things we could do, or what we want to do, and things like scholarships, or having a tournament for our future legends and giving the winner a boat, or purchasing some ice houses and putting them out on lakes like West Rush or Minnetonka, and having somebody kind of babysit them and let them sign up as like a VRBO and use it for free. There's a lot of different things that we roll around in our heads, and once we kind of figure out where we're at financially, and once we kind of get bigger and better, those are some of the things that we can do, and who knows what's going to happen here. But so thank you guys for coming out and helping with all that stuff, because that's where we're going. We're here right now, but it's coming. As Deion Sanders is saying, we coming.
All right, excellent. So I wasn't planning on saying anything about our volunteers, but a lot of you in this room have volunteered at Future Anglers of Minnesota events, and I have to thank you, we have to thank you, because we can't do this without everybody in this room and the volunteers that take part in our clinics. Just wanted to say thank you for that. So I have the pleasure of actually interviewing our future legends. And before I get started with Miss Kelsey, I'm going to give this microphone to Tony so you can play a little intro for her.
Oh man, I wish we would have filmed more. I really wish we would have filmed more. I'm moving some trail cameras right now, just exporting the video. And that was really such a small portion of the day we had. We had such a freaking bang up of a day. Huge shout out to Kelsey, Diane, and Future Anglers of Minnesota. Thank you. Thank you for connecting the dots and bringing us all together. We caught a ton of bass. We probably got 50, 60 bass. Kelsey, she really freaking dialed in the drop shot. She crushed them on the jig. Diane did amazing in the back. She's so encouraging, awesome woman. And she freaking smoked just as many bass as Kelsey and I. And overall, it was just an incredible day. I wanted to be present and I wanted to be there. So I didn't film a ton. There was so much more that happened between hook sets, great conversations, lunchtime. And I didn't want to film too much because I wanted to be there and present in the moment. But what you saw is what was captured, and overall, amazing day. All
right, so that was a little clip of Kelsey's fish wish, as Sam Sobey puts it. Sam is an excellent angler, and if you're an angler in Minnesota, you know who Sam Sobey is, but that was her wish, was to go fishing with Sam for the day. So come on up here, Kelsey. I have some questions to ask you. Super nervous. She's like, what are you going to ask me? I want to know. All right, so we're just going to something light, and we're going to talk about, like, you know, how old are you?
12.
What position do you play in football?
Linebacker.
Who's your favorite YouTuber?
Sam Sobey.
What is your goat's name?
Annie.
What does Annie weigh exactly? She's a goat.
Like 245 pounds.
All right, so tell me a little bit about the state fair. You went down there and you showed your goat,
Yes.
and you got a blue ribbon, right?
Yep.
Tell me more.
Well, in showmanship, we didn't do as well, but in the actual show, we almost got called back for callbacks, but we were one place away for going back. But
It sounds really interesting. I don't know anything about that. Another thing I don't know about is bull riding, but you also ride bulls, right?
I guess.
What do you mean, I guess?
Okay, I do.
Okay. So, how many bulls have you ridden? What are we talking about here?
4.
Okay, all right. So, what's the longest you've ever been on a bull?
8 seconds.
That's pretty good. I met a guy one time that was a bull rider, and I legit asked him, I was like, dude, how long do you think I can last on a bull? You know what he said to me?
0.
He's like, 1 second. That's exactly what he said. Okay, so over the past year, now that you've been a future legend, tell us about your experience with FAM, and what was a couple favorite moments, if you will.
It's really fun getting to help kids get into fishing, and probably one of my favorite parts is going to go fishing with Sam Sobey.
For sure, I mean, you and bonus Grandma Diane smacked it, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
And did you get your personal best bass on that day?
Yes.
Okay. What were you using?
Top secret information.
Yeah, okay. Yes, you know she's an angler right there, right? That's great. Okay.
How big?
4 pounds and 2 ounces.
There's a lot of guys in this room that haven't caught a 4-pound bass yet, so. All right, you're doing great. So, one more question I got for you is really about ladies, young women getting into the outdoors. What kind of advice would you give to somebody that wants to get involved in fishing in the outdoors?
Well, don't stop. If you're gonna do it, go full into it. Don't have to do it, just go. Don't give up.
You got anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Good job. It's part of this, right? Part of this whole mentorship program is kind of putting him on the spotlight. I mean, public speaking is not an easy thing for a 12-year-old, right? Right, or if you're 30, 40 years old, right? All right, so the next future legend I get to call up here is Callan Wagner. Let's get Callan. Go ahead, roll the clip.
Hey guys, this is Adam Griffith from the Crappie Chronicles and Griffith Outdoors. Just want to take a minute of your time and talk to you about a young angler. Callan catches them all, and that right there explains this kid. I mean, he does catch them all. For his age and his skill is way far beyond his years. But as a person, he's a really good person. The amount of respect this kid shows to adults and fellow anglers is something you don't see even with adults these days. He donates his time to help out other anglers, helps out at kids events to help other kids become better anglers as well. I can't say enough about this kid. I'm excited to see what the future brings for him, what he can do in the fishing industry. I think you're going to see him as one of the top anglers in the state of Minnesota at some point. Hope everybody enjoys their night. See you later.
So, that's high praise. That dude would never say that about probably anybody else in this room. So let's talk a little bit about your nickname, Catch 'em All. How did you get that?
I don't know, by catching fish.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you participated in the Youth Angler Quest, which Tony was talking about, and you were the first person to complete every challenge in the Youth Angler Quest. Tell us a little bit more about like what that took to complete.
It took a lot of effort, a lot of money just to find where to go, where trout are. Trout was my hardest one.
Okay. What about like, what was your rough fish? What was your?
I caught a drum and a dogfish.
What about a big old carp?
Yeah, what kind of carp? You got a giant carp, didn't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. How big was it?
I don't know.
Don't even know. It's just, it catches them all. It's hard to keep track of them all. Tell us a little bit about your excursion with Adam Griffith, and your goal was to catch your PB crappie, right? Tell us about that.
Well, we got out there on ice, and the windshield total, it was like below 30, and we battled it through on and on and on. We found crappie, couldn't make them bite at all. Sure enough, I used a little wax with a pinhead.
Never tell what you used.
Hey, that was a year ago. So.
It was a pinhead.
Yeah,
What color?
I can't tell you that.
Good man. How big was that personal best crappie?
It was my personal best.
It was not your not at the time? How big was it?
It was only 15.
Yeah, about that. So you have a crappie that's bigger than 15?
Oh yeah.
Go sit down. Just kidding. Come back. Yeah. Okay. But overall, pretty awesome experience, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Had a good time. Another thing that I want you guys to know about Callan is that he actually participated in Minnesota Made Outdoors last year with this lady right here, Diane.
Woo!
Which is not for the faint of heart. Tournament ice fishing is hardcore. You gotta be all in. And it doesn't matter what the conditions throw at you, you gotta be ready for it. Tell us what you think of this lady right here.
She never backs down. That's all I can say. All I can say.
Who works harder, you or Grandma Diane?
Depends on the subject.
Okay. So how about drilling holes and finding fish?
Equally.
Equally. Maybe I should bring Diane up here.
I agree, I've seen them both.
Is she a pretty supportive person in your life?
One of the most. One of the most. Single. Uno.
Yeah. If anybody, needs to look at a model for a mentor, it's that lady right there. So. Yeah, I can talk about her though too. All right, so when we sat down a year ago and you were awarded a Future Legend, one of the sticking points, let's say, it was your grades, okay? And we heard throughout the year that obviously we saw your grades get better, and that was something that we were focused on, helping you with. But we also heard that you wrote something on your hand as a reminder. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, I wrote never back down.
Okay.
Something like that. Something like that.
Do we need to fact check this?
Oh yeah, FAM, yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Something
okay.
like that.
I could have sworn you had little reminders on your hand to do good in school because we would kick you off the team if you didn't.
Yeah, put it that way.
Okay, yeah, that's the way I put it. We're gonna kick you off. Give Callan a round of applause. I thought for sure, he was gonna go deeper into Diane.
Yeah. His memory's already going though, we got issues.
Right, his memory is going. The last Future Legend that I get to introduce is Blake Buston. You guys have heard about him. Let's bring him up. Let me check my notes, and we'll go to the video first.
I was beyond impressed. Beyond impressed with the grit that Blake had. Blake is a 15-year-old guy, but now I consider him a fishing buddy of mine. The dude's got grit. And basically, if I had to put a theme on this whole video, and what I really wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about this young guy and the passion, determination, and the work ethic he has. And I haven't seen that out of a young angler in a long time. I'm not saying all young anglers don't have work ethic. I'm just saying I've fished with a lot of old people, young people, in between, and it just seems like the younger anglers nowadays doesn't seem like they got that grit that I felt like my buddies and I had, or you know, the older generation had when they were coming up fishing hard, whether it be tournaments or you're just fishing hard. They got grit, you know? And I saw that, so much of that in Blake this weekend, and I was blown away.
All right, midday update. We're catching some fish, just dinkers. We only got one gill that'll measure and maybe 5 or 6 crappies, which is kind of weird because I thought we'd get into gills more than crops. I've been just running and gunning. I'm gonna get back to it. I know we're not filming a ton, but we're putting our heads down and fishing hard. Midday report, talk to me.
Pretty slow this morning. We just now started to find the crappies, and we're kind of on the edge of a basin, leading into the basin, and they'd come through and they'd come unglued on it, but the bigger bluegills, they'd come up and they kind of just stare at it. But
surprisingly,
it's been pretty slow.
We've got more crappies than bluegills right now, which is really weird because it's kind of like our bluegill area.
Yeah.
But it's good they're mixed, so the possibility's there for anything.
Yep.
All right,
let's get it. Do it. The dude was very respectful. Dude had tons of manners, hardworking, positive attitude, and the will to never give up. He gave it 110%. And I don't care if you're into fishing or not into fishing, or you're into tournament fishing, or you're into baking, or you're into landscaping, or you're into being a dental hygienist. It doesn't matter. When you see somebody that gives 110% at something, you notice it. You notice it right away, and you respect the hell out of it. Like I said, dude's got grit.
All right. I got a lot of questions, but I'll try to keep it short. What is your girlfriend's name?
Haley.
Sorry?
Haley.
Does she like flowy blonde locks, or does she like you now that you're kind of keeping it tight?
I don't know, 50-50.
Good question. So you've been kind of like missing in action now that he's got a lady in his life, so I gotta give him a little, you know what. All right, so what does grit mean to you? What does that mean?
I don't know, it's just having a lot of determination, and just, even like on some of the rough days you may not get like a bite or at all any, but just not giving up and just giving it all 110% of the time, and just go until you can't go anymore.
Where does somebody get more of this grit? Where does someone develop grit? Like, where does that come from?
Well, you guys give a lot. You've done a lot for me, and a lot of mentorship, and a lot of stuff. And I think it's just, I don't know, it's growing up, just knowing you gotta. I don't know how. It's weird.
I think you said it. It's how you were raised. It's the family that you come from, right? Do you want to attribute any of that to your mom and dad?
I'd say a lot of it is from my dad, and a lot of it is from my mom. Just raising me up to not give up and just work for what I want.
Yeah. I don't think I need to ask any more questions, to be honest. We're really proud of, as this group goes, of what you have done to establish yourself not only as an angler, but as a person. We're a little scared because we heard you have a driver's permit now. But other than that, I'm super proud, speaking for Feature Actors of Minnesota, of all three of you for coming up here tonight, answering my questions. You guys did a great job. We have a little token that we'd like to give you to commemorate your trips with the Crappie Chronicles. This one is for you, Blake. Look at Waldo there. Look at that. There's,
Oh, that's my favorite, to watch them have to squirm up here just like we do. They think that we're like okay being up here. I'm like, I just want to get this done. But so those are our three past future legends, and part of the reason that we're here today is to raise funds to continue to be able to do that. What is a future legend, and how is a future legend chose? We don't have any discrimination where they have to be a certain age or a certain gender or a certain economic income or anything like that. All we're doing is looking for kids that have high character and have a passion for fishing, and those are the only two requirements that we have. We don't discriminate based on anything. We just want to get the right kids into this organization so that we can grow it and build these kids up and give them a little bit better, just give them a head start and give them a lift towards having a better life. These kids tend to set themselves apart from the group, and to this point, we're still kind of new, so we're not getting 20, 30 submissions. It's been fairly easy to pick the kids. They set themselves apart and make themselves known, and their character is through the rough. Their public speaking still might need work, but so does mine. So, hey, where did you do my sheets? There. Okay, so we have one Future Legend Award to give out tonight. My whole goal when I try to write this speech, and I'll probably read a little bit of it and improvise a little bit, but is to try to keep it a surprise as long as possible, because this kid is in this room right now. It's too hard to keep it a surprise the whole time, because what ends up happening is you're not able to say what you really want to say about the kid. We know these kids fairly well. There's a lot of inside jokes and a lot of things that we've experienced. So I only scratch the surface if I don't kind of put it out there. But I'm not going to make it easy. The only people that are going to actually know about it are probably people that are involved. So, the best way to describe this kid is one of us. Now, that's a way that I want to be described in my life. If you're scheduling your golf outing or your fishing trip or whatever it is, a vacation, you just want to be one of us. You want to be one of the people, and you want to be respected and liked, and you want to be invited. Who doesn't want to be one of us? I say that, and then I shake my head no. This kid's better than most of us. We've had 20, 30, 40 years to figure things out and learn and get better and learn from our mistakes. And this one's had just over 10. And he's still better than most of us. This kid is intuitive to another level. And I mean this with all respect. They're blissfully ignorant regarding how good of a fisherman and person that they are. And here's the first clue. I'm going to stop myself right here so that their head is able to fit through the door when they leave. And that is a funny joke because this kid, he and his dad have worked on this for the last few years. And I said he, so now you know it's a boy. He fishes with his dad in a tournament circuit called Minnesota Made. That's where most of our board members were established from. And this past year, he and his dad took first place at one of our tournaments. If I remember correctly, it was the first tournament that he had the reins on spot choices, when to move, all the decision making that goes into tournament fishing. And if you could listen to some of these grown men complain about the decision making process after they didn't win, you would know that that's a bit of a big deal. Right, Dan? So after he also won big crappie that day as well. And after he won that tournament, he backed it up the next tournament with another big crappie. So the kid can catch fish. His dad is an absolute fantastic role model for him as well. But what impacted me the most out of that whole thing, and don't get me wrong, I've never cheered for another team to win running the weigh-in or anything like that. Except for that time when they're sitting in the hot seat and I'm like, just let him win. Just let him win. It wasn't just me though, it was the entire league. The amount of respect that he's earned from our entire league. You don't just get respect from guys in our league. Our guys are too good at fishing and too stubborn. You have to earn it. You don't just get it. Just like the plaque that they won, they earned it. On top of all of his fishing accolades and everything, Saturdays are a big pre-fishing day. Our tournaments are on Sundays. He was out there volunteering at our fan clinics. So I often talk to some of the gals that we have up here and just tell them how big of a deal it is that we have ladies that are out there, because we have probably like a 40% girls that are coming to our clinics, and that's a huge impact. I think it's a bigger impact. They got a young kid that can sit there and teach them, that's their peer, that they'll listen to and they're like, wow, this kid is great. And he can make a bigger impact on them than we can. And for him to come out there and do that, that's a huge thing. And then we host a tournament for veterans and law enforcement called Home of the Brave, where there's 50 veterans out there doing a tournament style fishing. And this kid and his dad were out there and they were paired together to take a team out. And we had a no call, no show volunteer. And we're like, well, what are we gonna do? And we looked at this kid and we said, can you take a team? He goes, yeah. He looks at his dad and he goes, we're gonna beat you. So he went in at full speed with no questions asked. His selflessness doesn't ever go unnoticed. He applied last year. He was beaten out by two awesome kids that you saw here earlier. But you can only hold a superstar back for so long. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you our 2023 Future Legend Award winner, Reed Resch. Come over here. Do you want to know what you get for being a future legend? Okay. You earn these things, you don't get these things, okay? Just so that you know that. You got a plaque. You get a lifetime fishing license. That's like $30 that you don't gotta pay every year, which will probably be $50 by the time you gotta pay. You get a guided trip with you and one other person, whoever you want to go with. $500 Shield shopping spree. I'll grab them out of the bucket. If I try to do it right now, it's going to take me 3 minutes. But okay. There's a couple custom Della Bay ice fishing rods. If Sam and Nate from Della Bay could stand up, thank you guys. You're also going to get $1,000 towards something that you want in the fishing. And I know that, like on your sheet, you put you wanted rods and reels and whatever. And we can talk to Della Bay and we can get you set up with all the rods that you need if you want. We can figure it out afterwards. Man, normally he's so calm and cool. He's kind of breathing heavy. And this is kind of fun. So what we're going to ask for you in return is to set a great example for kids, even when no one's watching, to be a good role model, to get better every day in every aspect of life, to set your goals, achieve them, crush them, and then set new ones. And then we're all kind of getting old. Dale's got to use cheaters. We want you to keep this going when we're all too old.
Next year?
Yeah. Thanks for noticing. Okay, so now's not the time to be shy. I want honest and truthful answers, and you're going to have to talk. So take a deep breath. There's barely any people here, and none of them are even looking at you.
Nobody's watching.
So, what are you feeling right now? Because it seems like there's a lot of emotion there.
I'm shocked because I didn't know I was going to get an opportunity like this.
And that?
Okay, so last year you applied for this, and you weren't chosen. How did that feel, and what were your thoughts with that?
As soon as I knew that there was two other young kids that were the same age as me, I realized that there was always somebody that's better than you and trying harder than you.
God, I like that answer. I didn't tell him any of these questions before this. Okay, I want you to describe the relationship between you and your dad. And so something that I look at, my dad's here today and played with me in my golf tournament, and it's a relationship that I have with my dad, and it's one that I hope that I have with my 3-year-old. And I want you to explain what your dad means to you. And you can take the mic and talk.
Drive and determination, and always give 110%.
Outside of fishing, what are you passionate about?
Baseball. Yeah.
What position do you play?
Shortstop.
Okay, so you're all the good kids play short, catcher, center field. Do you pitch at all?
It's not my favorite.
What do you want to be right now when you grow up?
A guy.
I love it. All of our kids just want to be fishing guys. So we know your strengths, but one of the things that we like to do here is to build up your weaknesses. If you had to pick and choose a couple of your weaknesses about who you are as a person, what would they be?
Talking in front of guys.
You're in luck. Same.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say? The mic is yours. I want you to take one deep breath. No, you're good? All right. Here, round of applause for Reed Rash. Do you guys think you guys spent enough money today so we can give out another one? Huh? Yeah. Based on a call that I had to make when I was on like the 7th hole that we needed more raffle tickets on the 5th hole, I'm gonna say yes. So, if you picked up on part of the requirements for being a future legend, that they need to keep this thing running when we're too old, and everybody noticing that we're getting there, then this kid is probably the front runner for being the person that takes those reins when that time comes. This kid basically has the choice of their profession when they get older, They're the type of kid that's likely doing 90% of the group work in class. And not just because they want to get a good grade, but because they want all of their group people to get a good grade. And that group is 100% going to get an A. It's someone who does the right thing even when nobody's watching, and their respect level and how they carry themselves is through the roof. They're very assertive, and they know what they want, and they're willing to put the effort and the work in to get what they want. They might get knocked down, but they're going to get back up again. If they nail it, they're going to go back to the drawing board and make it even better. They're not satisfied with good enough. And I had two things that was going to give it away, and I couldn't decide which one to go with. So I'm going to go with the obvious one. Her mom and stepdad took on a huge commitment by committing to starting a Brainerd chapter. And she jumped in with both feet. She was at all the clinics helping set up food, prizes, polls, everything else that goes with it. And she might have been just as excited as her mom was on the phone. And at this time, I'd like to also just point out the fact that we do hold a vote on the Future Legends. Her mom was not involved in that vote because she's a board member and a kid was applying, so Miranda didn't even know the vote was happening. I'd also like to say that all of our board members, most of our board members to this point, the originals, were chosen from the Minnesota Made Fishing Organization, and they've all received the Sportsman Kenders of the Year Award, which is given to the person that we believe shows the highest character. So at this point, you can nod your head, but I'd say we're batting 1,000 on our picks so far. She came to us and she aspires to do something in media or start her own podcast. She asked if there's anything she could do for FAM in this regard or anything. So she started interviewing guests, including all of our past Future Legends, and she knocked it out of the park. All these interviews can be seen on our YouTube channel. She's shy until you put a camera on her, so we should be good here because I see a bunch of them. She's the next Laura Shera. So please put your hands together for Chloe Thorson. Good. I don't know what questions, but somebody put Chloe's questions. Okay. There we go.
Deep breath.
Man, the excitement. I don't know if you guys can feel it from back there, but like their breathing changes. Okay, pretend nobody's out here. Either that or pretend they're all naked. You pick. What are you feeling right now? Well, hold on. Let's go back here. We gotta. You heard all the things that Reed got, right? So we don't have to do all that. You get the license and the plaque, the guided trip, and the shields, and the Delapay rods. But you don't have it. You don't have the picture. There's something that you don't know that we've been going back behind your back. And when you get home at some point, because you got to drive all the way back to Brainerd, but there is an ATV that is yours. And that's part of your $1,000. There was actually two of them, but we found the right one.
That money you were saving, you can save that.
Yeah. So you were saving money for an ATV? Wow. What are you going to buy us? Okay, so we still have all of the asks that we asked Reed for you as well. And mainly to keep this thing running, because you're probably looking at some of the other ones and you're definitely the smartest. So we're gonna need you to keep this running, okay? So I wanna ask you right now, and be honest and open and try to speak as best you can. Okay, there's a camera, you're fine. You're fine. What are you feeling right now?
I'm really surprised. After you announced Reed, I was just whispering to my parents, like, next year I'll get it. I know it's a really, really big honor, and I did not expect this at all.
Told her she was good. Did you learn anything from interacting with the past future legends during your interviews?
Yes, I did. I learned a lot about, like, from Blake, like, the different bass techniques, because I'm not really a big bass fisherman, where we do more walleye, so I learned a lot from Blake about bass fishing.
We'll get you there, Chloe.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
And like with Kelsey and stuff, I really learned like how important it is, like what you get with the future legend, and it really made me like have a better drive to want to go and get it. And I can say the same about Colin. I'm not very good about this on the spot stuff.
You're doing a great job.
You're beating Reed right now, so you're good. When your parents committed to being a big part of FAM, can you take us inside that conversation, inside the house? Were you included, and what were your thoughts?
I was kind of confused because I didn't really know a lot about FAM. The only thing that I really like knew was that, like, because I knew Calvin, so I knew that he had the sponsorship and stuff, so I didn't really know like a whole lot about it. But I was super excited because I had just started getting into fishing and stuff, well, like a few years before that, because we've always had fishing in our lives, but I was really starting to like it. And I was really, really excited because I loved like helping kids and stuff. Like I've always wanted to be a babysitter and everything like that. So I was really excited to know that we were going to be going ice fishing with him because I love little kids.
You're getting an applause after every answer. Outside of fishing, what are you most passionate about?
Oh boy. My grades? Probably like interviewing people, even though it's still pretty much in fishing, but I really, really like take writing stories and interviewing people really seriously. It's something that I've always really loved.
So now we have our own personal vlogger and interviewer, and this is great. And this is how we built this thing. Yeah, she did more than we've done. What would you want to be when you grow up right now? Obviously, it could change, but right now.
I really, really want to have like my own fishing TV show, kind of like, what is it? Yes. Yeah, but more about fishing, like completely about fishing and some hunting, and I really want to be a guide too.
Another guy. So we know your strengths, and for some reason, I think the boys that we have are really easy to find their weaknesses, and kind of just like Kelsey, like I don't know if she has a weakness, and I don't know if you do. If you had a weakness that you had to say that you'd like to work on, what would it be?
Focusing. I get some trouble sometimes for not focusing good enough, and I get distracted really easily, so probably that.
Okay, if you can help me with it, maybe I can help you with it. Me too. Is there anyone that you'd like to shout out or thank? And I'm going to give you the microphone.
Definitely my mom and Joe, and my dad too, because he's always been a really big fisherman, even though he's been really busy recently, he hasn't been able to take me out, but I'm definitely going to take him out. Yeah, and the fam guys.
Yes, good job, Chloe.
Everybody give a round of applause for Chloe.
Chloe's Catch is her Instagram
And
or YouTube and all the TikTok and Twitter or X or whatever it is. So we got one quick video here to share with you that kind of came at the end of one of the videos.
I look up to the folks at Future Anglers Minnesota so much. It's a nonprofit organization. Basically, their whole mission statement is to mentor kids through fishing. And they've done a lot for Kelsey and a lot of other young kids and folks. And how this kind of all came about was Future Anglers in Minnesota kind of sponsored and helped out Kelsey. They asked her who she'd like to fish with, if she could kind of have a fish wish. She picked me. I feel extremely honored. Future Anglers in Minnesota reached out to me. I reached back out. We connected the dots. Next thing you know, we're all on the boat, sharing hook sets, having a great time. So this is an amazing organization. If you can donate to it, please do. And like I said, I look up to them.
That was it, sorry, got cut. Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you to everybody that's here.
So, last round of applause before we get into the golf stuff. That kind of concludes our banquet portion of this, but the last round of applause would be for you guys. Without you guys' support, this is nothing. So, thank you guys. I know a lot of you, we talk to the kids about this a lot, that you don't get through life by just hoping that something's going to happen. You have to make connections, and I would venture to guess that the majority of this room, at least one person from your group knows one of our board members or somebody involved with FAM. So thank you guys for being great friends to us and supporting something that we're passionate about, and for helping us build this to what it has been today and what it will be tomorrow. So round of applause for yourselves for showing up. Appreciate it.